All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another Director's Commentary with me, your host, Corey Drakenberg, the creator of Come Drive With Us, along with Proline Racing and a few other people. Tonight we're going to be watching the 2015 Silver State race. So it's going to be exciting. Just hope everybody had a good couple of weeks. Mine have been kind of up and down. This week I'm on vacation, so been doing a little bit of fun stuff. Went to Alberta's only beach, some lake called Sylvan Lake. I don't know, it was kind of gross, but yeah. Check that out. And then just been relaxing, working on the icebreaker video. Incidentally, anybody who asked me about the icebreaker video will be categorically blocked from all my social media. The icebreaker video is coming. I'm actually writing the script now, so it's getting there slowly. It's been a kind of a labor of love, so to speak, but yeah, it's coming. So anybody who asked me about it, blocked instantly, just deleted from all social media channels. And then you'll never see it, ever. How do you like them apples? All right, so then the week before, with my day job, I work for a construction company. We got told that we're not going into the office till 2021. So that really sucked because I missed the connections. This whole no contact bullshit sucks. Very unlucky. Yeah, sorry about the language, but yeah, I like being in the office. I like interacting with people. So yeah, just feeling kind of unlucky. So anyways, Silver State. So this was my first time at RC Tracks Las Vegas, and it was pretty amazing. For me, RC Tracks of Las Vegas was always one of the premier facilities. I once said that it's kind of the best RC facility there ever was. Neo Buggy Phil corrected me. He felt that the 2010 Worlds venue was better. I believe that was in Jakarta. I should know this. I'm in the RC media. But yeah, he said that was a better facility. But for me, I'd never been there. So for me, RC Tracks Las Vegas was always just like next level good. You know, they spared no expense to build that facility. And when it was shut down, it was really hard to take. I felt it was a huge blow for the industry, but adversely in 2014 when it opened up and when they hosted their first races, it was a huge boost for the industry. It showed a lot of positivity for the industry, and you'll see that in this video. This was the first time Silver State was held outside of the Boulder facility, and the Boulder facility was pretty notorious for getting bombed out, and you'll hear the racers talking a little bit about it in this video. You know that it was very difficult. I think Billy Fisher said it tested your want to actually race RC cars. So yeah, that was kind of a pretty epic quote about the Boulder track. So this was the first time we had a race at RC Tracks Las Vegas for the Silver State. It was the first time Silver State was held there. So yes, I've got my favorite wine here because, as many of you know who've watched this, I don't like being on this side of the camera. So this one has got some fond memories for me. It's called Menage a Trois. Don't go there. It's a really good, nice, smooth red wine. So I'll be enjoying that while going through this commentary. So let's see if I can figure out my technology. Hopefully there's no echo. Last time when I did the Messina video, I couldn't hear an echo in my headset, and yet when it posted live, and nobody was mentioning an echo, and when I posted it there's an echo on the actual video. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. This is why I do documentaries and not podcasts. So yeah. Anyways, let's watch Silver State. So this opening shot was actually pretty cool. It was filmed by Robert Bauer, not to be confused with the rodeo star Robert Bowers. This is filmed by Robert Bauer, who's Proline's internal video guy. I pitched some ideas to him, and he came out with or followed through with a GoPro and did some cool stuff with Daniel carrying some tires, packing the Proline truck. Did a little bit of a time lapse. I had a little bit of a more epic plan for the opening credits. I was going to write each participant's or each featured driver's name on a Proline box and have them delivered to like have Daniel kind of walk the box with their name on it to each driver, but that just didn't quite work out. So we we did something a little different. This is one of my favorite shots. That the water spring shot still is one of my favorite come driverless shots ever. But like the thing I love about RC Tracks Las Vegas is the backdrop. Like you cannot beat that backdrop. The Las Vegas Strip. That's just amazing. Here's a cool shot of Kyle, who was the incumbent champion. He won in 2014. That was the year of the Proline. They won pretty much every race there was to be won that year. 2015 was a slightly different story. We'll get into that shortly. The last race that oh, sorry about the I should fix that up. The last race that we reviewed was the Messina Worlds, where Proline won the World Championships along with Tessman, or Tessman along with Proline won the World Championships. So this was literally months later. What's interesting is this. I finished filming this one on the Sunday night, and then I went home on Monday. Arrived home kind of like late on Monday, and I think on Wednesday I was on an airplane to London, England to shoot Neo. So I almost got a divorce that day. Could have been 3 years ahead of schedule. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Anyways. So yeah, here's a good shot of the boulder track. I can't remember what year this is, but I think Mayfield won it, so it might have been 2013, because McBride won in 14. Oh, Mayfield's upside down. There's one less Aerotronics radio in the world right now.
This extreme blown out wind, tents blowing.
So yeah, here we got some people talking about the boulder track.
I know we all don't miss the weather out there, that's for sure. It gets super windy and hot.
Rain, snow we've had before. I mean, you just know that it's just a race that tests, your actual want to race RC cars.
Yeah, so that's the drivers talking about the boulder track.
They're doing an awesome job.
Yeah, it was. I had no idea what the boulder track was like. When I pitched this episode, I thought I was filming at the boulder track, so I actually bought a big dust cover for my cameras, and lo and behold, a few months later, I found out it's at RC Tracks Las Vegas, so I was super stoked.
At the end of the night, it's really enjoyable, and
so here is this. This is a big change from 2014. Is there we noticed Adam is wearing a Mugen shirt. I'll get into that a little bit in a little bit later.
It's awesome. I think everyone really thinks it's good. Track's awesome. Facilities.
So here the guys are talking about how awesome RC Tracks Las Vegas is, and they're right. It is awesome.
it's cool to see the Silver State kind of back on the map. And
well, and there's Star Wars Easter egg. Unfortunately, my picture-in-picture is kind of covering it. It was Slave 1 chasing the Millennium Falcon behind Adam Drake. I always throw one of those in just for funsies. I think this was a 4-day race, so it was a fairly short race from a filming perspective, because when you talk about filming IFMAR, they're like 7 days, so those are brutal. But this was a 4-day race, so here we got practice day. Here's some shots of Nitro Challenge. We're talking a little bit about some backstory leading up to the race. And we're talking about how Ty's dynasty has kind of ended at the Fear Farm, because he had come into the 2015 season as the world champion. He just doubled at Nitro Challenge the spring before, and then this year he ended up having some technical problems. I think he broke in Truggy. He broke an arm in Truggy, and I can't remember what happened in Buggy, but he was having some bad luck.
You can roll into another race and hopefully keep your thing going.
the mental side's huge, you know.
And here Jared's talking about the mental aspect of RC. You know, it is pretty big. Like, momentum's huge. That was kind of one of the motifs or themes in this season was momentum.
That's why a lot of guys like to club race a little bit,
You know, here Cody's talking about club racing, building up confidence going into major events. Oh, Victor. Oh, I love you long time, Victor. Wish you would still do RC. Miss the beard. It's epic. I mean, we need to do a come ride with us, do a motocross featurette on Victor.
But it does give more pressure too if you're.
So here Ty is coming into the 2015 season after winning the Worlds, and he's feeling the pressure for sure. Yeah, here's what we were talking about. His Truggy dynasty ended. I can't remember how many Truggy Nitro Challenge titles he had. I think it was 3 out of 4 or 3 in a row. I can't remember. But he ended up breaking an arm, and again, as I mentioned a few moments ago, I cannot remember what happened to him in Buggy. I know he didn't win. I believe it was Mayfield who won the 2015 Nitro Challenge. Mayfield or Cavalier, I can't remember which.
I think last year was an epic year for Proline, and
Here Daniel's talking about how amazing 2014 was for Proline, and it's right, because like they won the Roar Nationals, they won Neo, they won Silver State, they won the Worlds, doubled at Nitro Challenge. It was an amazing year for Proline. It's hard to duplicate a year like that. So yeah, 2015 was it would have been awesome for them. I've mentioned this many times. I consider Proline, the people at Proline, more friends than clients. But so for me, it would have been awesome to see them just continue the dominance. But it's just not realistic.
He has earned 2 major victories in this very young season.
Yeah, it looks like it was in fact Mayfield who was running TLR who won Nitro Challenge in 15.
Use it as kind of like a mental toughness or whatever. You know what I mean? Just a little
Yeah, he had a really good year. This was kind of when Mayfield was at his peak, and I'm sure this will ruffle some feathers, but if he had been running Mugen already at this point, I think he would have had a significantly better season. Because the low C car at that point just didn't do really good at rough tracks, and even though RC Tracks Las Vegas was pretty smooth, it still blew out by Sunday, and the low C car was kind of struggling a little bit. But in practice, he did really good. It was him. I think McBride was having some pretty good luck. Oh, here's kind of a cool shot. I always feel kind of losery asking the pros to do a novelty shot like this, but kudos to Kyle. He was a good sport. It was awesome that he took time out of his busy day of wrenching and talking strategy with his pop to do a cool shot like that. Took us a couple takes. I think it was about 7 takes to get the die just right, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Well, and the other interesting thing is, at this race, we'd already found out that the Worlds would be held here. So this kind of made this race really important, especially for the local the California guys, the domestic drivers. They really want to put in a good performance and make sure that the Worlds stayed in America. Here's Drake. Here he's talking about switching from low C to Mugen. He was actually escorted out of the low C building. It's something that's surprising with long-term employees. I know it's happened where I work, but yeah, he was actually escorted out of the door. That's how his last day at low C went, which is kind of surprising given that it's Adam Drake.
But I'm not really the type of person to oh, look at me, or let's everyone talk about me. I kind of do my own thing, and so it was, I don't know, at the end of the day, it was really nice, but I wouldn't say that I was excited for the attention.
So Adam Drake, he really caused a free agent frenzy when he left low C to a degree. Now, the problem with his termination was it happened in October, and a lot of people are already signed by then, or at least know where they're going to land. So it was kind of risky for him. He could have easily ended up contractless because everybody's budgets were kind of full, and obviously he wanted a certain salary, which is totally fair. So good on Adam to end up at Mugen. I think it's been a really, really good fit. Lots of freedom for him. I think he's helped improve the platform quite a bit. And I think it suited his driving style a little bit. I think there's some growing pains that first year because the low C and the Mugen do drive quite different. So at Nitro Challenge, I think he struggled a bit, but going from C-Hub to Pillow Ball, it's kind of expected. So here, back to talking about Tessman at the Nitro Challenge. We're talking about Tessman at Silver State. He was in the B group after practice, which was not awesome. And there's Cody and Lutz going crazy. Oop. Sorry, Proline. We didn't know. So now we didn't know. We're doing qualifying now. That's a little bit of a jab there. I'm sure we're going to hear about that later. But Lutz, I just love his outtakes. He's just such a goofball. There's so many characters in this industry. That shot just cracks me up. The high five, and then what's the motor doing? Oh, I love this facility. It's just amazing to see. The only thing I didn't like about it is because the track did bomb out, Chris Tocco didn't really put in a lot of big air jumps. Well, he just couldn't, you know, because it would blow out. The launch jump, the jump faces would just get so decimated. So I was a little disappointed with this layout, but by the time Sunday came around, I completely understood why he did what he did.
This gives everyone another up-close look at the track.
I mean, the jumps were big, like, don't get me wrong. They're not like Canadian tracks where they have little speed bumps.
Was notorious for disintegrating.
But we all knew the track was going to break apart. It was just kind of a matter of when, because Vegas clay doesn't hold together all that well.
After a disappointing Nitro challenge, Team Tessman is out to redeem them.
So yeah, here we're talking about the Tessmans. After the disappointment of Nitro challenge, they were really putting themselves under a lot of pressure to perform because they were the incumbent world champs and they wanted to prove that there was no world's curse.
Round 1 of the Truggy class.
So here we start out with Truggy. I mean, the Hot Bodies Truggy back then was always really, really good. I think here, if I could be so bold, the AKA guys had a little bit of an advantage at Las Vegas. Anytime it was run loose like this. I think Proline sort of struggled a wee little bit on the X compound at that point. The AKA guys just kind of had a little bit of an edge. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we come to the mains. But even the JC guys, like they didn't have the tire at this race. It was kind of between AKA and Proline to a degree. I say to a degree because they were really juggling with the compounds. They were going between M3 and X3 and X4, etc. So it was just kind of tough for them to find the right tire. And it comes down to spec tires. I keep saying this, like, we need spec tires. We need more spec tire races because I'm so sick of people losing a race because they picked the wrong tire. Because all the chassis, they are so close. Chassis are all, like, it doesn't matter if it's Techno, Mugen, Losi, kind of doesn't matter. They're all so close. But tires, man, tires are like 80% of it. And I know 99.8% of all statistics are made up randomly. So when I say 80% is tires, I use science behind that. It's not a random number. But I'm here all week. It's the Menage a Trois, guys. Here we're following Dylan Rodriguez. He was so fast, that kid. Like, just raw, natural talent. But frick, was he lazy. Like, he just couldn't wrench on his stuff. Didn't like wrenching on his stuff. I don't even know if he liked RC car racing, but he was so talented. So he was 18th in Truggy. Considering how little he actually works for it and races. Oh, what's interesting is I think at Nitro Challenge this year he did like an epic bump. If I recall, it was like from the D-main or something. D to C to B to A. Like, he was running a whole bunch that day. If I recall, I could be wrong.
The real question is, would any of his success in Truggy...
So yeah, it's Dylan ended up doing other stuff. It's too bad because he was so talented. Really nice kid. Came from a great family. His mom was at all the races. Just it was awesome to see. Really miss him. So here's Mayfield talking about his run. Let's see what he's saying.
Other than that, we're having a great time. This track's getting the right amount of roughness, I think, though, to where the lap times aren't falling off that bad. But it's
right amount of roughness. Not character. Bing! Still's no character. Bing! Sorry, that's an inside joke. You'll find out about that later. If you haven't watched the whole series, you'll get it. Ooh, sorry, Proline.
I think I went the wrong way.
Here's Mr. Snyder talking about his run. He always ran the white paint job, which somebody took the time to put the flame job on.
I do like to stick to my traditional white, so maybe it's just bad juju or something.
I think it's best I not say anything.
What do you think of the layout?
It looks fun, but it's really bumpy, so it's going to be challenging. But
So here they're talking about the layout and how the bumps are developing.
Which part of the track do you think is going to be the hardest?
And Ty's talking about which part of the track's going to be hardest. We'll just see what he has to say.
Disappointed. Ryan Cavallari, on the other hand, with swagger and prototype car in hand, would earn the hard-fought TQ in the first round.
Yeah, here we got another AKA guy on top. He would be TQ for round one.
Cavallari camp as last season, with the exception of the Worlds, he struggled.
He really struggled last season. The season before in 2014, his best result was actually at the FMR Worlds. He was 2 laps down from Ty. I think it was 2 9/10 laps down, if I recall, but or was it 2? I can't remember how long Ty followed him. He might have just lapped him twice, but regardless, Cav was TQ as of round 1 in Buggy here at the Silver State. He was having a really solid run, and so was Jared.
Trying to find the fun. So yeah, this year I've been driving more and trying to have more fun at the races.
You know, Jared, he takes it really, really seriously. And when he's not having fun, it affects his driving. So for him, he needs to be enjoying himself. He needs to be comfortable to really perform well. And he was really enjoying this track. You know, him and Chris Toko, the co-owner of the facility, were buddies. So for him, it was kind of like just a big club race. So he was really having fun, and you could tell like he had swagger on the track, and he had his mojo, as Jared would put it.
So I just kind of paced off that, and he kind of was a little bit stronger at the beginning, and then I would say I was a little bit stronger at the end.
Yeah, here Cav's talking about competing with his tire teammate.
And we were able to get around him. It's been a while since I've been.
Yeah, he's saying how it's been a while since he's been competitive. That is true. But he had a really good 2015 season, the Neo race, which is the one after this, and I'll talk a little bit more about the Neo race after the broadcast. It will be back up. Just got a little bit of a licensing issue that I've been just really too busy to solve. So the Neo race will be back, and we're going to do a director's commentary on that one next week. And here we got some great shots of how blown out that track is.
Gaining a little bit of character, but considering the turnout, the track's holding up tremendous.
With 500 plus
So this is still qualifying, and it's actually not bad.
the sun sets, the lights
There was
go
a
on,
few
and
bumpy
drivers are
sections,
set
but
for
it
some
wasn't
nighttime
too
racing
bad
action.
after qualifying. Some cool nighttime shots. I just love the dust shots of Vegas. It's the dusk shots of Vegas. It was just amazing. I mean, this is literally the best backdrop in any RC track in history, period. Like, it's so sad that this track went away. It's just devastating.
Would he turn it around this heat? As before, a clean run, but Ty's car struggled to carry its speed through the bumpy sections of the track.
So here, the Tessmans are kind of struggling with the bumpy track setup. Like, typically, pillowball cars tend to be a little better in bumpy track conditions, but, you know, people will argue that because the Kyosho cars are just killing it on this surface. Like, Jared, his car looked really good through the bumps, and his car's C-Hub, so... I think it just came down to a little bit of experience with bumpy tracks because Jared came from out east, so I think he's more used to bumpy tracks than the Tessmans. So they were sort of struggling with finding the setup.
Running the associated prototype car would see his best qualifying round so far, finishing second overall.
Here's Kyle. He's running a associated prototype of some kind. Now, I don't know if this was the associated MBX7. I can't remember what their prototype looked like at this point. I know in 2014 they were running the crate, which was a Jesse Roberts concoction. Cost him his job. Oops.
Ryan Mayfield, capitalizing on a poor run by Ryan Cavallari,
yeah, Kyle was running some kind of prototype car, and he did pretty good. Not nearly as dominant as the year before. Now, Mayfield did manage to TQ the second round, but it was watching him on track. I didn't get enough footage of him, but watching him on track he was just hanging on for dear life. So now this is the Saturday, so second last day.
This day we'll see the
shot from my hotel room, if I recall. Some cool dolly shots of some guy's epic ProTech radio case. And here's the Tessmans trying to figure out a shock package that works. It's so tough on bumpy tracks. I mean, Silver State still to this day, even though it's indoors, blown out, and you're constantly changing shock packages.
Gordon Ty are at it early. They are trying to find a shock package that will.
Yeah, just looking at one of the comments.
They are not alone.
It's not as bad as
Booty Boys. Yeah, a little bit of character is correct.
Man, it's starting to get some crazy bumps, like right.
But this was nothing, absolutely nothing compared to the Worlds. This track held together gloriously. But I think it was smaller attendance, fewer days. This was a 4-day race. Worlds was like an 8-day race or 7-day race. But
pretty smooth still, but then there's parts that are getting pretty rough.
yeah, so it was kind of scattered. There's parts of the track that were smooth, like Cody was just saying, and then there's parts that were just bombed right out.
Be a little more racy, guys making some mistakes in the bumps, and should be really good.
It's good.
a little rough. It's not near as bad as the old track.
Yeah, here Gord's just mentioned it's not as bad as the old track, which is correct.
Yeah, we're
Because
struggling to get
there
through the
years, it wasn't even a race. It was just
kind of speed, for sure.
trying to get through everything in one piece.
Ty, the reigning world
Oh,
champion,
Drew Mo still
continues
raced
to
back then.
struggle.
Another guy who's super talented.
We're gonna try
Just kind of disappeared. Decided to get an education
Nitro.
instead.
We need a good run of Nitro. We're really, really sucking right now.
Uncharacteristic mistakes plague his run. His struggles are not limited to the track. In the pits, he and Gord struggled to develop a workable setup.
Yeah, the Tessmans, they really struggled this whole race. It was hard for me to watch because the last time I had seen them was at the Worlds, where they were at the absolute top of the industry, and here they were just struggling mightily the whole race. It was tough to watch.
As the pressure of following up a world championship.
So maybe there is something to the world's curse. Who knows?
You expect more out of yourself.
Here's Cody talking about this is a really good interview.
You do well after that, and I think you know that. And it's difficult just to get your mindset back into not thinking about that. But that's probably one of the hardest things that there's to do. So I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's really hard to get out of that funk. It took me, like maybe a year before I actually won again after that.
Yeah, so Cody was a 2010 champ in Jakarta, and he really didn't do a whole lot. After a lot of people said it was luck, but man, he was so on that week at that race.
But not turning it around yet. We're getting there though.
So in Q3, I think Ty ended up putting it in the show.
Sunday's A-main final.
He would make the final, but barely. I think he was starting in 6th or 8th. I can't remember. I should have been paying attention to what Gord said, or at least made some notes or something.
Is far from over. Could we see an unexpected face in the A-main, like local driver Dylan Rodriguez?
Yes, it would have been nice to see Dylan, who's a local to Las Vegas, actually do something in this race, but unfortunately he didn't.
Nitro challenge was like kind of like an eye opener. You know, I don't feel like I would have been able to do that before.
Yeah, here's talking about
before
DNC.
this track opened.
Yeah, he was saying how practicing at RC Tracks Las Vegas really helped him.
We didn't actually get together. He messed up the double. I went to the inside, and then some dude clipped me.
Yeah, here we got Dylan and his mom and his girlfriend at the time talking about his run.
For now, there is no Cinderella story to tell about Dylan.
Yeah, I was really hoping
He is
for
embedded deep in the
some
C-main. So like the Nitro Challenge,
something
Dylan
exciting for Dylan, but I
successfully played the tough game yet again.
think he made it as high as the B, and that was it.
Actually be able to get a clean run in and salvage top 10 or top 15 for each of the runs, so that was nice. A B-main and truck and C-main and buggy, but only got one good round in, so we'll be bumping up.
Yeah, he's hoping for the bump
Also
game, but it
struggling
didn't
is
quite
former
happen.
world champion Cody King.
But yeah, he wasn't the only one struggling. Cody was having some issues. Lots of racers having some problems.
Up and down.
And Cody's
Had a good
weekend was
start
up
to
and
the
down.
day
His whole
yesterday, and
2015, 2016
struggled a little
seasons
bit
were up and
later in the
down.
day. Then today I was on a really good run and I had a little bobble.
We're not going to get
I think I still
into
got
Cody's
like a
problems
6
too much. We're
round,
going to
so-
jump over to the chat and see who's here.
Going all right.
Hi, Eric Lundvall. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Incumbent champion Kyle McBride isn't quite as dominant
Colin Runge,
as
no
he
video
was.
from Calgary. That was B-roll only.
The starting position for the main over
It
last
will
year's event.
surface in 2021 when I talk about what the racers have been doing during COVID. That is the plan for the Calgary footage. No, nothing outside of that. Mike Bridges. It is indeed weird to see the Tessmans in HB garb for sure. HB clothing for sure.
Kyle's teammate Ryan Cavallari was the fastest in round
Marcus Dirks. Guten Tag, wie geht's, Herr Dirks? Long time no sprechen Deutsch.
Car's been working great all year.
Barry Cox, what's up, man?
Everyone from the guys back at work and all the guys here, we put a good
Anyways, back to the race.
effort in.
Cavallari, I think he TQ'd round 3, so he's the overall TQ.
The first round went really well, and the second round yesterday didn't go so well underneath the lights, but then today we kind of came back and came back out on top.
Yeah, he had a heck of a run. Like, his car was really, really, really good.
qualifying effort, Kyle is in a better position than last year's event. Would we see a
Yeah,
back-to-back
Kyle,
champion
actually, he
over
qualified
the
better than the previous year. So I guess the hope was that he would pull it out, but it's very different soil. And like I said earlier, the AKA guys, they really had an advantage on that dirt. And here we go to mains. Just, I miss Vegas so much. Why did that track have to go under? Sadness. Here's some lower main starts. Oh, I think this is the first time I had an actual gimbal for my camera, so that was pretty cool. Had a bunch of smooth shots. Thing weighed an absolute freaking ton. I think with my camera, the Ronin one weighed 22 pounds. So yeah, it was definitely a workout. Oh yeah, there's Dylan's motor that grenaded. That's awesome. I think that's what kept him out of the Truggy show. I'm not sure. I think Buggy, he just flat out didn't make it. Lots of crashes in that chicane that year because it was kind of blown out. Plus it was tight. You know, it was just awesome to get footage of failing in there. Oh, more gimbal shots. 22 pounds. It was a workout. I had to pace myself with that thing. If I used it too much, I'd fatigue. Oh, there's Yuchi Kanai, I think. Pretty sure it's Kanai. Doing some drift action, and that S-turns section just got so rutted and blown out. Oh, here we got black screen. Some random A-main guy. Some random Truggy starts during golden hour. So it's probably like C-mains-ish. Oh no, it looks like B-mains because there's Drake.
Truggies are run first, followed later by buggies.
Yeah, you can see this is the end of the straight. It's getting pretty chewed up.
Becomes much less frequent.
There's a cool shot of Kanai. You can just see like he's just barely keeping it under control under braking. And after the big triple or double, there was huge pothole developing. Oh, here's another Easter egg.
We're too close. Stay on target.
It's like Trench Run actually stole some audio. Fortunately, YouTube never flagged that one. Yes, Colin, I can pinch your engine if you come to the Edmonton race.
None of the pro drivers have left. They have remained to prep their cars
Sorry,
for Sunday's
I was
main.
reading the chat. Here's everybody wrenching on their stuff.
Today, they are researchers and engineers.
You never know who's watching. I think I better put on my picture-in-picture. Here's Dylan again. Really missed Dylan. He was so sad that he gave it up. Dylan, if you're watching, man, come back. You are one of the most talented guys there was. Oh, this is a cool shot. Usually I buy a lot of these shots. This one I ended up actually, I was bored, found a bridge, shot that one. So, oh, this was classic. Yeah, Gord was like yelling at me. I was downloading footage where he was like, dude, you got to come out, you got to come out. So this was actually during the B-mains of Nitro Buggy. You can't make this up. Cannot make this up. The B-mains, we got invaded by a swarm of bees. They put a full stop to everything, got the beekeepers out. It was pretty amazing. Like there was, I don't know how many, 20,000 bees around, but yeah, it was crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's another cool shot. These were all gimbal shots, and that gimbal was it was so heavy. By Sunday, I was just so beat, and I had to do this all over again 2 days later in England. So here we got some B-main Truggy action. There's, I think that was Drake going by on with his new rides after he got fired from Losi unceremoniously. There's no audio here. Remember, this is the Blu-ray cut, or the director's cut. I haven't quite finished it yet. One day I'll do an epic box set. That's the plan. Well, it's yeah. Mike Bridges says, well, it was the B-mains, and Mike's scheme is a killer bee, so he can relate to the bees there. He always runs a yellow beehive type style body. So here we got Dylan Rodriguez in the B-main getting chased by the Drake. And Adam, he kind of struggled with his starts all week. He would end up getting taken out by people, and plus he was still learning the Mugen stuff. So it was kind of a learning weekend for him, so to speak. And here he's chasing Dylan down, but I don't know if they're fighting for position. Yeah, so I'm just gonna hop over to the chat, see if there's anything new happening on there. Not a whole lot. Most people watch these afterwards. I don't get a lot of live views. But another interesting tidbit on the Tessmans during this season was Hot Body's financial future was there's a big question mark about their viability and their ability to maintain their cash flow, etc. Because they had some, like HPI had some good stuff going with the Baja program, but they kind of sat back on their laurels and let everybody else catch up on the fifth scale stuff. So it was just kind of interesting listening to all the rumors, and you know, you hear, oh, they're growing broke, but you just don't believe it because HPI is such an old company. So in addition to having the pressure of winning again, like after winning the Worlds, Ty had the pressure of doing some damage in the season, so he had the pressure of repeating potentially, and he also had the pressure of, wow, maybe I won't have a job in 6 months. So it looks like here we did just see Dylan Rodriguez bump to the A. I was incorrect. He did make it to the A in truck. I believe it was Buggy he didn't quite make it. And he's back to HB. So this year there's that whole dark shadow of maybe they won't exist very soon. So that was a lot of pressure for Ty. It was very difficult for him to handle that, as well as being incumbent world champ. So it was just kind of a comedy of errors for his season. Oh, there's a kiss for Dylan. So cute. Aww. But yeah, it was awesome to see Dylan and his mom. Just great people. I really miss them. I believe that's his grandpop. So again, this is the director's cut. It's a work in progress. I just downloaded it to my laptop. I didn't even know this scene was in here. So just kind of winging it, and you know, my favorite wine, Menage a Trois. So if you guys haven't tried it, it's a California Red. It's smooth and awesome. Well, here's Dylan's B-main buggy. Now I can't remember what happened in his B-main. I guess we'll find out shortly. But yeah, Dylan's a local Las Vegas guy. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. Looking over to the chat. Mark is asking any Agama that year at the track. I don't remember. Honestly, I didn't really pay attention to that brand until Lutz switched over to it. I think he switched to Agama. I should know this. I'm in the RC media. So I can't answer that question. I'm not sure. Remember, this is 2015. I don't even know if Agama existed. If they did, I apologize, but Dustin, you're hilarious. Dustin's doing some online marketing for my engine sleeve pinching business. He's saying, get your pinching here, get your pinching. It works, I'm telling you. I got a 19-gallon OS speed. It still's going. I just cracked open gallon 20 at a race in Calgary. The race in Calgary is awesome, by the way. If any of the Calgary guys are watching, you guys did a really, really good job of the track. It was probably the most fun I've had in Calgary in quite a few years. So yeah, again, this cut is sort of dragging on. I might skip ahead here. No, I'm just kidding. So here we're following Cody Kang. This is all B-main action. It was probably quite difficult for Cody to be in the B here, but I mean, there were so many fast guys in the B. Like Drake was in the B. Cody was in the B, Dylan was in the B, and Dylan was, sorry, I got my door open, there's bugs coming in. Probably going to regret this tomorrow when they all lay eggs. It's all good. Yeah, Cody was still around Kyosho here. Kyosho Red's power, if I recall. And his car looked really good. It just, he was a little bit off the pace. You know, from his teammate Jared. Jared he put in such a dominating performance at this track. He really, really did. Yeah, I think Dylan was back in 4th or 5th or 6th at this point. Struggling just a bit. So there we see Ryan Lutz taking the top of the B. Cody King, Tyler Vick. Those would be your bump ups to the big show. And here's Jared. I can't remember where Jared qualified. I think he was in P2, if I recall. But he's checking out the track, seeing what it's all about.
Cupping out a little bit more.
And what's interesting, during qualifying, like I was saying earlier, there were sections of the track that were bumpy, but for the most part, it was generally smooth. By the time the mains came around, though, it was bombed out. And in fact, during the A-main, it really, really started to blow out. So this is the Truggy A. It's run around 5 p.m. or so, and then the Buggy A was run 9-ish. Also, Ty did TQ Truggy. Interesting. There's Gordon and I ducking down. If I recall, I got yelled at quite a bit for being on the track. Again, I was kind of an unknown at this point. People didn't know who I was yet. Most people saw the World's video, etc. But yeah, I still ended up getting yelled at a lot by race organizers. So yeah. It was fun stuff. So there's Ty getting chased by Lutz. Yeah, full of a Lutz. There's one guy that you don't really want behind you is Ryan Lutz. At least back then. He's mellowed a lot now, but he would push you so hard. Oy. Lightning fast. Really, Lutz is super fast. Oh my goodness, he was so fast, but a little inconsistent. As you just saw, the secret back then with Lutz was just to try to stay ahead of him long enough for him to screw up, or for his equipment to fail. Because he always, like, he was running the Orion, like, I think he had his own brand of Orion motors back then still, and the quality just wasn't quite there. In fact, when he switched to the block engines, which is basically OS, like, his finishes just went through the roof. Like his consistency really increased. But interestingly enough, Ty Tessman here actually had a flameout. It was one of those mysterious flameouts. I remember talking to Gord. I went to Medicine Hat a few months later in the summer talking about this, and oh, that's when Dylan blew up his motor too. It was in the A. Yeah, so Gord couldn't quite figure out. It was just a mythical flameout. Just his engine just flat out stopped. Oh, here's Dylan's mom talking about Dylan's bad luck, but at least he made the show, which is right. Yeah, so this was Ryan, Jared, and Ty in the top 4. And Ty had yet another flameout, so that was all she wrote for him. He was out of it at that point. Hey, Lerone, what's up? Nice to see you. It's real decent to see you, Lerone. Real decent, my brother. From another mother. And take the Truggy win. Yeah, this would be the day of the Mayfield for sure. He took that win, which is good, because these guys, any wins at RC Tracks Las Vegas in the seasons leading up to the Worlds, they took.
I knew just that I could keep the consistent laps. I had the fuel mileage strategy on my side against Lutz, anyways. I knew if Ryan.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to who was in second. I guess we'll see when they do the spray at the end. But it was a good win for Ryan for sure. I really like Ryan. I get along great with him. We have very similar personality types, except I can't afford to smash my radios. But I do drink Coors. I only had 2 today. Only 2 Coors. Didn't do 3 today. Just 2 and some wine.
Looking forward to Buggy now.
So now we're at the main event, I believe. Very young Tessman looking kind of stressed out.
With this track, even from 10th, I think he has a chance because a lot of people are crashing.
I think a lot of the guys, the strategy. Oh, I just love that backdrop. Sorry, a lot of guys, the strategy they had was just to wait for people to crash. But it's hard to wait for people to crash when you're crashing yourself. So. Here's a little emotional scene.
Yeah, so far the year's been really good. Podiums are always great, but I need some wins here pretty soon.
Oops. Okay, so yeah, this is as I indicated, this is director's cut that I'm kind of working on. Sorry about the click to analyze. I'm using what's called warp stabilizer. Sometimes when your shot is kind of shaky, I end up using warp to smoothen it out. And that tire flying was Joe Bornhorst tire going flying through the air. He forgot about his wheel nuts. They're apparently quite important.
He only gave up first spot to Ryan Mayfield for a few laps before.
Yeah, so this was Ryan Cavalieri just kind of walking away. He gave up first, I think, for about 4 laps to Mayfield. But after that, it was he gone. Again, I'm not sure if their prototype car was a pillow car. I really wish somebody would jump on the chat and tell me if it was or not. Obviously, have to be somebody with a better memory than mine. But whatever he was running, it was really good. You know, I think he was running the what was that OS brand? Crazy Power. The Maxima OSs. Lots of power on those. Holy man, they were insane. But Ryan Cavalieri, even though he checked out, he was getting hunted. He was getting hunted by Jared very quickly. And within, I think it was the last 20 minutes of that race, that track just blew out, and that worked so well into Jared's favor. I believe it was the last 5 minutes he raced Cavalieri down and passed him and took over the lead, and he kind of never looked back. Yeah, this was really Jared's race to lose at that point, though, in the last 5 minutes at least.
With a lap time 0.6 off the pace of Tebo and Cavalieri, a win seems unlikely.
So yeah, Tessmans, they never give up, but they really had no chance at this race. Not once they, because they were 0.6 seconds a lap off the pace, if I recall. So it was Cavalieri and Jared going back and forth with Robert Battier in the mix. And again, with the Worlds being held at this facility on virtually the same surface the next year, any win here in Buggy was so huge and so important for confidence. And when I look at this video and compare it to the Worlds video, like as far as the bumps on the track, like this track was so smooth, and yet this was very, very bumpy. I didn't race at this Silver State. I raced at the next year Silver State, but this one, it looked super bumpy. I was so happy I wasn't racing, and yet it was actually pretty smooth.
At the front, Ryan Cavalieri and Jared Tebo are still competing for the win.
So here we got Cavalieri and Tebo competing for the win. Yeah, and Jared, like I said earlier, with about 5 minutes to go, he ended up taking over, and somehow Ty did claw his way into a podium spot. I can't remember if he held it or not. Ty always seems to find a way. There's Chris Toko. Him and Jared go way back. It's Cody King hugging people again. Must have been drinking. Again, really, really good for the confidence to win at this race on that track prior to the Worlds. But with the high that Jared had, kind of hurt Tessman for his confidence. Like losing the way he did, I think it hurt his confidence for that track. Every race that he went to, it was kind of like this dark cloud was over him. They were just trying so hard to figure out that surface, figure out that track. And unfortunately, I don't think they came close. P3 at the Worlds next year, but that was about it. P3 was the best they could do. But again, he was on the outside looking in for large portions of this event. So for him to finish on the podium was huge.
Pretty early, which
yes, and Mayfield, he had some technical problems. His clutch failed.
I tried to limp it around, but at the end it was just too frustrating. So pulled off, watched Ryan and Jared battle. It's a good race. I'm stoked for next year, stoked for the World. I think it'll be fun.
I'm disappointed. If we don't win, I'm always disappointed.
This is Jared's theme song in the background.
Flame outside.
It's a cover of Hans Zimmer's song called Time from the movie Inception. It's a royalty-free version of it.
Pretty much. Glad it's over.
Drew, glad it's over.
I have some work to do.
We're going to be back this winter for sure and do some more testing and get our whole team here and figure some stuff out for next Silver State.
Yeah, the next Silver State would be really interesting. It was the complete opposite of this. amazing traction, like crazy traction, and completely smooth. There's
like a big weight
the spray for Jared.
I've had a whole bunch of seconds and thirds lately. Just that weight just finally felt like it got lifted off.
And he's talking about weight getting lifted because Jared he'd been so close so many times, like lots of seconds, lots of thirds, like he was just saying. So for him to get this win was really big for him, really big.
I'm super excited to head back, get home for a day, and head out there. Should be good.
I'm stoked on my second. I mean, I wish could have maybe got the win, led a lot of the race.
Yeah, the AKA guys, they definitely had the tire figured out for this race. I think they're on the gridiron compound or the gridiron tread pattern. I don't know which compound. I think at that point it was just soft, super soft were their options. I don't know if they had long wear for this race. But yeah, here they're all talking about going to a Neo race.
I'm really excited about that. This is definitely going to be the best car I've ever had at Neo Buggy. I think it's going to suit the facility and the track really good.
Looking forward to Neo.
Yes. I love that race. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mere hours ago, the pits were full of life and activity.
Yeah, it's just such an amazing facility. Like, I just love the pits. Just the investment they put in, it's incredible. Like, they had the infield is perfectly landscaped. The pits were concreted. It was just next level. So sad to see it go away.
We witnessed the rebirth of one of the truly great American
Yeah, we're
races,
talking about the rebirth of
the Silver State.
the Silver State race. Well, I mean, we did because it was held there for 3 years, but that's about it.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Going home.
Going home. Yeah, I think Daniel said between 2015 and 2016, he went to RC Tracks Las Vegas something like 20 times for practice and or races. So yeah, it was even myself, I think the World's year I did 4 trips to Las Vegas. I did the warm-up, Silver State, 3 trips. So it was the warm-up, Silver State, and the World's video. The whole facility was in this big sporting compound. They had a batting cage there. Then they had a... My bad. Sorry. It's the... They had a batting cage there. They had go-karts, everything. So it's pretty cool. Here's... oh man, what's his name? Brain farting now. Jeremy Courts. He was running JQ. It was one of the most volatile partnerships ever. Here's frenemies, Rhonda and Mike.
And in real life.
And in real life, we've been racing together for years.
So again, I always like putting the finishing order as the end credits. I don't always get it right, but I do my best just to give people shout outs.
Yeah, I'm a cyber bully.
Joseph down in 38th. Good job, Joseph. Keep it up. Paul Cicerello. Raced with him at Silver State last year. I don't know what this outtake is. It's Daniel doing some crazy stuff. Anyways, let's hop over to the chat and see if anybody has any questions. So Matt G confirmed that Lutz was running Alpha Motors. Tyler Keel, God bless America. You are easy on the eyes. Indeed. And Santos Rodriguez says, one badass track. It absolutely was. RC Tracks Las Vegas was absolutely badass. So miss it so much. I think it still's there. At least the remnants of it are still there. I filmed it in 2018, if I recall, and it almost looked the same. Oh, sorry about that one. Proline? We didn't know. I'm sure I'm going to get an email for that. Yeah, so anyways, like I was saying, the RC Tracks Las Vegas facility was still there as of 2018. I shot some B-roll of the wreckage or the ruins of it, and it was just so hard to be there and watch it. You know, it was just watch it in its decay. It sucked. What's up, Andy? You missed everything. You missed the whole show. I'm almost done. How you been, buddy? Just scrolling through some of the comments here. Colin Rudge. I'm gonna get blocked. Yeah, so Matt G says last year at Silver State, he actually, a few buddies visited the facility So Matt, what was it still there? Because when I was there, the driver's stand was there, the podium was still there. Basically, everything was still there except for the pit lane was removed. I believe Joey used that pit lane for the indoor Silver State. So Matt G, just let us know what was left. I did use the footage I took of the RC Tracks Las Vegas ruins for the Silver State 2 video. And so a lot of people ask me if I'm going to do another DNC or another this race, another that race. I've been asked to do Neo, if would be another Neo. And I always say I don't do reruns. Oh, I dedicate this one to my daughter. Oh, that's so sweet. Anyways, I typically don't do reruns. The reason I did another Silver State is this one was outdoor. This one was at RC Tracks Las Vegas. Silver State 2 was an indoor race. So that's when I do. Here's my old outro. Did some 3D animation of that. Surprised Disney hasn't sued me yet. It's probably a matter of time. Anyways, let me just switch my camera here. There we go. Oops, take out the picture-in-picture because I don't need two of me. One's enough, right? So yes, I don't do reruns. Like I was just saying, I did the indoor Silver State because it was a completely new venue. If Silver State moves again, yeah, I'm open to it. If Neo, well, I guess I shouldn't say I don't do reruns because Neo is a little different in that it's now an outdoor race, or it was an outdoor race for a single year. Now Phil's busy with the family business, so he doesn't run Neo anymore. And the Neo race is kind of gone. The last year of the Neo race, it was outdoor and it just didn't quite have that same vibe. I watched it online and it was cool, but it just wasn't quite the same. I'm just looking over at the chat. Sorry, just reading the chats. Mark, thanks. He says awesome footage. Thank you. This was a really fun shoot. I was a little burned out. By Sunday, I was really tired, and I was a little stressed out because I only had a day to recuperate, and then I was on a flight to the Neo race because they were on back-to-back weekends. Like I said earlier, surprised I didn't get divorced then instead of now. So Rick Hayes. Good question. Docu-series on the chassis manufacturers and their history. It's one of the topics for my... So I've got a grandiose plan for Come Drive With Us. I'm hoping to be able to do it for 10 years and then basically have a 10-year documentary of sorts to pitch to Netflix or to some other streaming service or just go for full-on distribution. And one of the chapters is about the manufacturers. You know, basically all the old manufacturers like the Kyoshos, the X-Rays, etc. Because X-Ray is one of the older manufacturers. I know Ure was building RC cars like in the 60s or 70s or something. So, and then Associated obviously had the big their heyday in the 80s, 70s with the RC10. The RC12 series of cars, I think, were first, and then the RC10 followed suit in the 80s. So yes, it is one of the chapters in my larger series. I've started writing that script, but I haven't done any editing around it because obviously I'm not finished filming. I, again, hope to do it for 10 years. That means I got to finish 4 more seasons because I'm on season 6, working on this video. What's it called? Oh yeah, the icebreaker. Fortunately, I haven't had to block anyone yet because nobody's asked me about the icebreaker. Barry Cox, yeah, you're welcome for the entertainment. It's these are super fun to do. I really enjoy it. Stephen Eves? Yeah, Stephen Eves is asking what's my next race. As far as I know, right now I've got the icebreaker in the pipeline, and then I got the 10 scale IFMAR World. So those two are going to come out this year. I've been sort of like delaying icebreaker a little bit because I want to do a good job of it. I also don't want to rush it. I don't want to have my last 2 Come Drive With Us for this year out like in the summer, and then I'll have nothing to do for the fall. So I'm sort of delaying things a wee little bit. So I hope to have sorry, my door's open. Bugs are coming in. You're driving me crazy. It's like Australia. Yeah, so I've got the Icebreaker coming out very soon, and then the Worlds video coming out before the end of the year. And then January, I hope to restart Come Drive Us 21 season with the Chili Bowl. And then I hope that the guys in BC get the barn race back up and running, because I want to do the barn race and the Quebec Classic kind of as both races in one episode. And feature some of the Canadian drivers, because some of them are really entertaining, like Brittany Tozer. If her dad lets me include her in the series, she's a card. Just a really great personality on that kid, and a really bright future because she's getting really fast. She beat a lot of guys. Like I think there's this guy, what's his name, Colin Rudge or something. She just smoked him. Like it wasn't even close. So yeah, next race, to answer your question, Chili Bowl, barn race, Quebec Classic, and then maybe an IFMAR Worlds. I don't know what they're doing with Brazil. I don't know if Brazil is completely called off. Like I don't know if the 20, if the 8 scale champ is 8 scale champ for 4 years instead of 2, or if they're going to do 2 Worlds in 1 year. I don't really know what IFMAR is doing yet, but that's the plan. Yes, Mark, that is a Fuel EX behind me. I do a little bit of mountain biking. Yeah, I use a lot of drones. I just couldn't use any at RC Tracks Las Vegas because the track is literally right across the street from the airport. I was experimenting with a parachute system for my GoPro, but the downside to that is I was going to like launch it with a tire tube launcher, and it would go like 200 feet in the air and then gently float down. But Vegas gets kind of windy, so I was pretty sure that my GoPro would just kind of float away and I'd never get it. So there is no aerial footage for anything at RC Tracks Las Vegas at all. But every other race I do use use quite a bit of drone footage. Oh, thanks, Steve. It's good to hear that Colin, I didn't get beat by Brittany. Sorry. Didn't happen. Nice try. Thanks for coming out. See you next race. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Silver State was a lot of fun. Next week, I will review the Neo race. And on the Neo race, so like I mentioned earlier, there was a licensing issue with one of the songs. I purchased the song, and then the artist had switched which service he used. And so that second service got really angry that I was using their song without buying it. And they wanted like, I don't know, it was like $7,000 for me to use the song. I'm like, oh, screw that. So I ended up having to take the video down, and all I have to do is replace the song. So it sounds like an easy thing to do, but when you have a day job, family, I also run an online hobby store, so I have a lot of things on the go. It's tough to go back to a video from 2014 and swap out a song, because it's music is really pivotal to what I do. The right song can make a scene look really awesome, and it makes the scene kind of come together, and the wrong song just makes it feel awkward and weird. So yeah, it's coming. I think after I do the commentary, I'll likely I'll repost the Neo race, but it's coming. I will be doing the commentary on it probably next Thursday. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about Silver State. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I think most of the rest of the Silver State story and the RC Tracks of Las Vegas story will be told with Silver State 2, because we'll kind of get into a little bit of why RC Tracks Las Vegas went away. And it's such a huge letdown, because that track was so amazing. And with it going away, it started like a really negative catalyst, or it was the catalyst for a lot of negativity in the RC industry, because we saw manufacturers starting to struggle. HPI got split into a couple companies. Like I think HPI was bought by a distributor in England, and then HB was bought by Pierre, the owner of Orion, if I recall. So there's a lot of negativity that just started with RC Tracks Las Vegas going away. I don't know if it was just, I know it has nothing to do with RC Tracks Las Vegas going away, but it just felt like it was just kind of the start of a lot of negativity. Oh, Josh Boring. Hey, man. You always join late. You got to join early and on time. Or were you in Facebook jail again? Anyways, I don't really have much else to say. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know most people watch these after the fact, so it was nice to see some of you. Like Linda Helbig, long time no see. Lucky, it was good to see you. Lerone, was awesome to see you. It was real decent. Colin Rudge, go away. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Again, I forgot to put my outro back into this, so it's going to just probably go to like a blank screen of some kind when I kill this broadcast. But yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week for the Neo race.